On this Gun Talk Hunt, I'm talking to Trent Marsh from Spypoint. We come remote from Tulsa, Oklahoma at the POMA conference. That's the Professional Outdoor Media Association. So we'll talk a little bit about that and all about cameras.
Hey, I'm KJ, dedicated lifelong hunter here. If you got an interest in all things hunting, you're in the right spot. Whether chasing quail across the plains of Oklahoma or in pursuit of elk in the backcountry of British Columbia, you'll always find me on the hunt.
All right. Hey, we'd love to thank our sponsors. This is brought to you by Ruger, Range Ready Studios, and Timney Triggers. All right. Welcome in, Gun Talk Hunters. I'm your host, and I apologize for just the plain background, but you got two outstanding features right sitting in front of you with Trent Marsh of Spypoint. I'm your host, KJ, and welcome in, Trent.
It's good to be here.
Good to have you, man. What are we doing this week? Because I think everybody's like, why aren't you on your normal set?
Because we're making it up as we go along, because we're on site.
That's what we do best.
Broken Arrow, Oklahoma is what we're doing. We're at the Professional Outdoor Media Association conference this week.
I've been a member of POMA, which is Professional Outdoor Media Association, for, my gosh, I've supported them as a corporate partner when I was on the fishing side of things, and then we jump into, now I'm on the media side. It's fun on both sides, and you do both sides. Like you're able to do both sides because you produce content, you produce great products, and you support POMA.
Yep.
Media side might be a little more stressful because you gotta get, like, we come in here with like content in mind. Yeah. But I don't know, you're running this joint too.
Some do, some less. Some, everybody treats it a little bit different. It's no different than anything else. You've got some folks that are here for sure trying to lock up assignments and make money, and some are here really more for the more networking and that side of things. Me, because I'm a glutton for punishment and I hate resting. Like you said, I kind of... my role at Spypoint, we generate a lot of content ourselves, and I own all that content, so I'm doing that. I also do a lot of freelancing anymore, so I'm always kind of double duty. So I'm always I'm working my booth, but I'm also that's a cool. What do you got going on over there?
You're also on the board too, so you're kind of organizing this event too, which is, I don't know how you're doing it because you're doing basically three full-time jobs. Yeah. So I don't know how you're doing it.
Glutton for punishment.
Yeah, we like to be that. But your official capacity is Spypoint, and Trent, if you guys missed it, I'm sorry. I won't be able to. We probably could replicate it, but he had 100% Costanza moment, and he ranted and raved over wireless. Remote cameras.
It's
for game identification and stuff.
It's a topic that shouldn't be controversial, but has been made so. And you know me, so the some of the listeners that maybe caught me on other places or know me, so I'm very calm and quiet, and I keep my opinions to myself, and you really have to drag what I think out of me. So it was
he's exact opposite of that. But he makes a lot of good points, and it shouldn't be controversial whether we're able to use these or not. Like, if you don't like them, don't use them. Like, it's pretty cut and dry for me. But there is a debate to be had out there from the other side of the ground that sits there and they say, like, well, you're given an unfair advantage. Well, how's that? I want them to explain to me just once. I want them to say, well, you have patterned that deer. Well, I'm going to be patterning them anyway. Like, depending on where I put my food plots, where I cut that tree, or where I see the trail.
If you're in a state where you can supplement feed, if you're in a state where you can, there's a million elements.
Don't get me started on feeders.
At the end of the day, the one that they really like to run to is, you can set that camera so that you know exactly when that deer walks in front of it.
Well, but
they aren't wrong. You can put that camera on instant transfer mode, and you can spend $100 worth of batteries a year because it's terrible on the batteries, and you can get that photo within 30 seconds. When that deer walks in front of that camera, you could get an alert on your phone that tells you. You absolutely could. And what good will that do you while you're standing in line at Subway to get your sandwich?
None. It doesn't automatically fire a bullet. It doesn't automatically throw a projectile.
For all of the features, for the integrated solar panel and the new antennas and 33 megapixels or 36 megapixels and 1080p video, there's no bullet, there's no arrow, there's no laser death ray.
Well,
and
where would they put
I've
that?
talked to more hunters, because we talk to hunters. That's what we do. I've talked to more hunters that have come up to me and said, that camera wrecked my season. Because
he saw him there.
Because
he was never there.
You don't, if you're already in the tree, I don't know what the advantage would be there.
No.
But it's never when you're there and can do something about it. And even if it is, how many people do you know that have stocked to within however, it doesn't happen
matter.
as often. Social media has conditioned us all to think that every hunter is successful way more often than they are, because we've put the grip and grin element of Insta Twitter, book a facer, TikToki is all that's all it is. Everybody's doing that element.
Yeah, but what you don't see is the countless hours you spend in the field beforehand and prepping.
Success rates are low.
Yeah.
Success rates are low.
Yeah.
So I understand where they make that argument. We met when I was working for an optics company. Yep. That's my background, is on the optics side of things. And I'm here to tell you the technological advances that have gone into optics in the last 20 years.
It's far greater.
Have done more to extend shooting light.
Yeah.
To do all of the lethality of the hunter has been impacted more by optics, modern ammunition, and modern rifles, let alone
what they're not talking about that
modern archery, let alone
so we all go back to stick and string. That's it. Make your own arrows. That's what they would like, but it doesn't. There are guys out there that do it.
What pisses me off, what gets my dander up,
grinds your gears.
What grinds my gears, my Frank Costanza moment is, let's just be intellectually honest about it.
Yeah.
And it's an arbitrary line. It's completely arbitrary. Because if you look at the advancements in glass manufacturing and coating and what that has actually meant in terms of benefit to the hunter, well, that's not really technology. Okay, well then let's talk about insert preferred mapping technology here. That's the supercomputer that you're carrying around in your phone. It's bad for trail cameras. Oh, but if you need to know whether or not you can shoot that pronghorn that's in that feed, is that BLM? Is that Billy Jim's ranch? Oh, no. That's fine.
See, that's a little tricky line, because it's
and it's completely arbitrary.
I find you're right. I find these as a convenience tool. It's because I hunt out of state. I hunt out of state, and something like this, like a wireless camera, just lets me know, okay, either I'm taking my boys out hunting. This happened. This has happened 2 years in a row. I haven't been running a camera. Haven't been running a cell camera on the feeder. I don't know what's coming in. I don't know if that feeder is throwing, because my goal is to have those boys be successful. Past 2 years, nothing coming in. We've had horrible trips early season, and had I been able to utilize one of these, it would have been nice to know, hey guys, we're gonna not go this weekend, and I'm not gonna burn $700 worth of hotel rooms, food, gas, and whatever thing you find at Bass Pro Shops. I'm not gonna burn all that. We're gonna save that, and we're gonna just capitalize when we know the deer are there.
So I'm on the opposite side of it, because most of my hunting is within 20 miles of where I live.
Oh,
so it's you think. But you know how it is. If you want to actually hunt or fish, you don't actually come work in the hunting and fishing industry. So there's that element.
That is a fact.
But it's the efficiency. Everyone has more demands on their time now than they've ever had.
Yeah.
And you want to go pull cards every week, but do you?
No.
Because in your instance, you can't. But for me, well, you would say, okay, Trent, well, that's easy. You're 15 minutes away from where you hunt. You can go pull cam, but I can.
But you don't want to.
You don't
want to condition them.
You're going in there. This is Arizona. Arizona banned trail cameras outright. And their logic was they had that watering hole that had a bunch of cameras on it, and people were going in there and they were saying it was messing with game. I think
They said it was harassment of game.
Yep, that it was impacting the animals in the area because because people were always in there servicing their trail cameras, so they weren't wanting to go to that watering hole, and it was a critical thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Can make an argument that they should have mandated the use of cellular trail cameras,
right,
as opposed to
then you wouldn't have to go in
all trail cameras.
Yeah,
but
that's a good point.
Politicians in general,
they don't know what's going on.
We have a mosquito, so we need to use the mother of all bombs.
Yeah,
we have an isolated issue, so we're going to pass a statewide law because zero tolerance generally refers to the intelligence that was used in writing the law.
Yeah. I used to run, I was running, 24 to 28 cameras. 24, 28, and I lived 3 hours away from hunting. So what I started to do is like, oh, you can't wait to get those images. Dude, you cannot wait. And it's awesome. So you run in there, go check them every weekend. Well, when was I hunting? I was hunting on the weekend because I had a job. And so weeks before it was hunting season, I was conditioning all those animals.
Yep.
I was conditioning, it's the weekend, he's gonna be here. Let's not go.
Everything's gonna stink like KJ.
Yeah.
Stay away from here, stay away from there. Yep.
And
100%.
I always wondered, man, why do I not see any deer when I go in the woods? Well, yeah, you just conditioned them. Oh, that's the sound of KJ's truck. He's hopping out, and he's going to check it. Guys, give it a few hours, he'll be gone. His truck's still there.
Yep.
Stay away.
Absolutely.
And wireless cameras just make so much sense to me. But I think, what are the barriers? You know what? We're going to take a real quick break. We're going to take a break, and we're going to talk about our barriers to entry on these cameras and how Spypoint has made it easier to monitor your game, to get the pictures that you really want, and none of the BS.
Yep.
All right, so hang on. A word from these sponsors. All right, we love our sponsors, and hey, Timney Triggers. Since 1946, they've been making drop-in triggers that make it easy for all of us, especially me. And if you're looking for I'm going to just kind of line them out here. If you're looking for a new Timney trigger, whether it's hunting, competition, for pistols, they've got you covered. But in the world of hunting, here's what you should look for, and especially your AR triggers. So they kind of Timney goes by kind of a good, better, best mentality. So you're kind of good, you're looking at your impact, great triggers. I've got a couple of them in my ARs, and I think they're, to me, on that gun, they're the best. But they also have the AR-15 competition trigger, which is the gold standard. And better triggers would be your AR Targa short 2-stage trigger and your Daniel Horner signature trigger. So it's a 2-stage adjustable trigger, which I love, and I do have one of those. But I love Timney triggers. Find out more at timneytriggers.com. And, okay, Ruger. Let's talk about Ruger. 5.7. 5.7 is a great little Predator round. I'm going to tell you, it smokes. But their little Ruger 5.7 is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I have one, and I did something with this gun that not many people might do, but I took it alligator hunting and took 2 great alligators. And, I mean, it's nice to have a gun on your hip. Because when you're sitting there pulling that line out of the water, not sure what's going to come out of there, you pull it up and you see that gator and you put shots on target. It's great. And the 5.7 worked extremely well. The 5.7 Ruger is accurate too. So it's got a fiber optic front sight. Love everything about it. Find out more at Ruger.com. And Range Ready Studios. I'm in the heat of it, man. I'm taking classes. I'm not going to lie to you. What it takes is a lot of getting over your ego, and that's what I'm finding. If I can get over that ego and learn that, hey, everybody needs training, throw the ego aside, just jump into a class, you got to do it because you're going to learn a lot about yourself. You're going to learn a lot about where your shortcomings are. And I'm finding out that I've got a lot of them, but I'm becoming better. I'm becoming more proficient with the pistol. And in turn, that helps with hunting. In turn, it's going to help me take a more ethical shot, a better shot, and a more consistent shot every press of the trigger. So find out more at rangereadystudios.com. All right, we're back, Gun Talk Hunters. I'm talking with Trent Marsh of Spypoint cameras, and we're talking about the barriers of entry into these. I think when these initially came out, it had to have been like, wait, I have to have, one, you have to have cell service, like in your area, obviously.
Which is ubiquitous now.
Right.
I'm an old, and I remember when that wasn't the case.
Right.
So there's that portion of it.
Yeah. But two, like they were like, well, do I have to set up a separate plan, a separate service plan? And those were really the first ones that were like, or man, am I going to have to be replacing these batteries like all the time because it's just going to constantly feed me pictures, and then all of a sudden your phone's going ding, 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 ding every time a skunk walks by, a raccoon walks by, a twig blows in front of it.
Some of the early ones just texted you the photo,
right?
And for all the kids out there.
The youngins.
Those text messages used to cost us like 15 cents a piece.
Oh my gosh.
So and the cameras themselves. I mean, they were 1,000 plus when they first came out. I mean, they were. They were thousands. There were
1,000, 1,200, something like that.
Easily. So Spypoint has always been about making that technology available to whatever hunter that wants them. So we were the first manufacturer to have a cellular trail camera under $400, under $300, and under $200.
Yeah.
My first day on the job was at ATA 2019, launching the first version of this camera, the Link Micro, which was it retailed for $149 for a cellular trail camera.
Really?
And the competitors were coming.
Did they just scratch
You've
their head
been
and
to show. They literally came over to the booth and they're just like they're looking at it and they're like, you
son of a
bitch. That's what it was.
But that's when you know you're doing something good.
Absolutely, and we've seen the industry chase it back down. So it's important to drive the value for that. So the first thing is, for anybody that has either thought, I don't need them.
Right.
We'll get to that. But then the I can't afford them argument, there's a lot of, that doesn't really work anymore either. Because even your nicer trail cameras anymore, 50, 60, 70 bucks. The new LM2, that's coming in retail $99. So, okay, you can afford that. It's a 20 megapixel camera.
We used to
photo
spend,
mode only, and it does it.
We used to spend way more than that for way less.
Yep.
I mean, for way less technology.
I'm embarrassed at how much I spent on some of those early trail cameras.
Oh my gosh.
For 6 megapixels.
And now, how much is that one? How many megapixels is that? 20.
20 megapixels. Yeah.
See, the age we're living in is absolutely incredible. So what are the new advancements that you're seeing on the others that are alleviating a lot of those barriers? Because price, you've already knocked it out with that one.
Price is great. Obviously you have to operate the cameras. So batteries. And we've all seen, since we're all supposed to be driving EV cars. Lithium battery quality. If you go to YouTube, right, have you done this? You go to YouTube and you search bad batteries out of the box. And you just see, they will literally take a box of batteries and they'll open it and they'll just start putting them on voltmeters.
Really?
And they're like, bad.
No kidding.
Bad.
Dude, I'm so behind.
It happens.
I just take for granted all of them are good.
They're just fine. And that's another thing. So all of these, we have rechargeable lithium batteries that are compatible with all these.
Okay.
And then in the case of the Flex S, so last year we launched the Flex, which was crazy, and it was another one of those the industry hated us moments.
Yeah.
Because the main feature of the Flex that folks loved is it was dual SIM.
Okay.
So historically, for cellular trail cameras, you have to pick a carrier model because Verizon devices talk to networks differently than pretty much every other carrier. So you kind of had the Verizon devices and everybody else's devices, and pretty much all cell phone or all cell cam companies have that same situation.
Right.
Here's a carrier model. We said that's it's
dumb.
confusing. B, retailers, they want one peg, they don't want two, just for all kinds of reasons.
Yeah.
So we developed and put in the first true dual SIM configuration. Other folks were offering dual SIM,
right,
but you had to physically remove the SIM, turn off that SIM, install the other SIM, call customer service, hey, I need this SIM turned on. These are coming, the Flex G36, which is the revised version of the Flex that we introduced last year for this year, and then the Flex S. They're both coming with two SIM cards that are pre-installed, pre-activated, ready to go. And the way that works, it turns on, and it has its primary card, and it runs through that SIM card, and if it connects and it works, it's like, great, groovy, thumbs up, let's run. And if that one doesn't work, it's like, no, let's check that other card. Oh, this one's better, and we'll lock here.
Wow.
And even better than that, I think people would be surprised how much, they know it, but they don't think of it in this term, how much cellular signal varies over time and space.
Okay.
Because we've all dropped calls.
Right.
Where, I've never dropped a call here, what's going on? We've all we've been able to send a photo from a stand that we can never get a photo out on, but this time it went, right? So it varies. Maybe a tower goes down, tornado or something, a crazy thing takes out a tower. It's always monitoring. So if it drops below a performance threshold, it's automatically gonna go, it's a little sketchy. Let's go check that other card again.
Oh.
Well, no, we can do a lot better. So it'll automatically toggle over to that card that it should be using.
You guys got a lot of wicked smart people in your office.
It's easy, it's simple. The rechargeable lithium batteries, it's from a hardware component standpoint. And then, we haven't even talked about the solar panel.
Right.
We were the first, Spypoint, again, company of firsts. If you go back and look at the way that cell cams have developed over time, Spypoint is that first one there so many times, and that integrated solar panel. This isn't, I know you guys can't see it, but it's all one piece. It's right there. It's integrated. You're not running wires. None of that.
You don't have to move it.
No, it's right there. It's a passive panel. Obviously, direct sunlight's best, but it's not. It's still going to be getting something, and there's an internal lithium battery there as well.
Okay, so not enough charge on the solar, it'll kick over onto that battery.
It's so the solar is charging that internal battery, which is always the primary, but then you've still got the battery tray that you can either fill with some AA's or you can put a rechargeable lithium in there. And it's the way this is working is it's always prioritizing that internal battery. And once it gets down to where it's run off, it'll toggle off, run off the backup, and let that internal battery charge back up, and then toggle back over. Wow. So you're only using your backups for a few days at a time. Recharges, away it goes. So you're looking at literally season-long battery autonomy with that. Yeah, 100%.
Dude, that's unreal.
And so this is 20 megapixel, but the Flex series, you got 36 megapixel photos and 1080p videos that are able to be sent to your phone. Yeah.
Obviously these are great products to have, but there's more that these do than just take a picture. Because you were telling me some of the features of them yesterday that you can. So if you only want pictures of bucks,
you can filter. So all the photos are getting taken.
Okay.
But whether it's pulling cards back in the day, 3,000 photos on here. Yes.
Great. I know what I'm doing all night.
2,900 photos of squirrels, 3 of branches. That's how it works, right? Now, granted, on a day-to-day basis, when you're able to go into your app and check it, there's less of that because you're not looking at a 3,000 photo batch. You're looking at since the last transfer.
Yeah.
Right. But in the app, you can go in and you can filter by all kinds of variables. You can say you just want to show your buddy the video that you had downloaded. Yeah. You can sort by the media type. You can sort by just a camera. So like when you go in, it amazes me the guys that'll open up their app and they'll show me what's in there, and they leave their camera name like whatever it activates as. Yeah. And I'm like, well,
how do you know?
Name that by the farm and the location, because then you can go in and you can it puts the cameras in that order because your camera dashboard shows you signal strength, battery strength, all kind where your plan status is. We'll get to the plans in a minute, but so you can sort by that, but also species filters. It's another one of these firsts that Spypoint had, where you just want to see buck photos. Yeah, toggle buck photos, and it's gonna. And all you're going to be able to see and scroll is buck photos. You don't have to sit
there and like really squint at your computer screen and says, is that a branch or is that a antler?
Nope.
Dude, that's awesome.
It'll do it for you, and then you can just scroll through and look.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's incredible. So you were talking about plans. Because I think that's one of the big things that people's like.
That's the other thing is people go, well, they're expensive to run.
Oh yeah.
I can afford the camera, Trent. Great, the camera's $100, but now I got a whole other cell plan.
Yeah.
No. So
no.
Spypoint is the only manufacturer that you could buy a camera today and never pay $1 for cell service.
Really? How's that
You
possible?
could do it with others, but you'll never get any pictures.
Right.
With Spypoint, you'll get 100 photos for the life of the camera every month. Now, if you got it set up on a feeder in Texas,
you're screwed. You're going to be
that's
done.
not going to go very far. Yeah. Right? So maybe set up on the trail.
Yeah.
So there's ways around it, but you're going to get 100 photos for nobody else is doing that.
No.
You activate these cameras. You aren't asked for a credit card up front. You want nothing.
Really?
You can activate it, throw it in the woods, and never talk to us again.
Yeah.
You're going to get 100 photos every month.
You've still got a wireless camera.
It keeps taking photos. It puts them on the card. It doesn't transfer them.
So does it cuts them off like once it hits that 100 photos?
Once it hits 100, it stops.
Done. Yeah.
And then when your month turns over, it'll start sending again.
What is going to happen is that a guy's going to get there and it's going to be doe. On the 100th picture,
he's going to see an antler creeping in.
Yes, he is, and he's going to go. No. He's gonna sit there and he's gonna go, I'm paying for the next plan or whatever that is. How many different plans do you guys offer?
So paid thresholds, there are 3. 250 photos, 1,000 photos, or unlimited.
Yeah.
And in reality, most people, because we're a black and white society, I'm either running free or I'm running unlimited.
Yeah.
Because it's easier.
Right.
So again, 250, 1,000, or unlimited, and you can do any of those on a month to month. Or an annual basis. You get a discount for going annual. So $5, $10, $15 if you do it month to month.
No kidding.
Or $4, $7, $10 if you pay annual. So for $120 for the entire year, which is about what I pay for a monthly cell plan.
Yeah.
I have the entire year, every photo that takes, I will see in the app.
Really?
Yeah.
So annually, can you set that up for an annual, like a auto renew?
Yep.
Okay. So you can set it up for an auto renew. If you're not happy with it, you can always go in and change your plan.
Yep.
Dude, that seems so simple. And like, think. So whatever the price is, I mean, if you go with the unlimited, you're still paying less with your plan than we used to pay for one camera.
For a camera.
So how do these, because we haven't talked about this, how would like a guy who has, let's say he's got 640 acres, he's got a section of land, and he wants to run like 4 cellular cameras to kind of, can he link all those together? And that would like,
no.
So how does, we hadn't talked about this.
So it's another first. We actually introduced that type of technology. There's another manufacturer that uses it now. But it's a line of sight system.
Okay.
So it's one of those deals where this works great in Ohio. This works great in Illinois.
Right.
Hey, how's this work in the cypress swamp in Louisiana?
Yeah, nice.
It doesn't.
Great.
How's this work in, this would be great in West Virginia, and I can run it up in all the hollers. Well, you can, but you're going to have to daisy chain a bunch of lines. You can't, one's on this side of the ridge, one's on this side of the ridge. Oh, no, they'll totally talk through granite and over. It doesn't work that way. So we've basically taken the let's keep it simple approach.
Yes.
And if you look at how it prices out, you've seen a lot of other manufacturers that they've kind of, we'll do bundles and this and that and the other thing.
Yeah.
And by the time you really tabulate everything up, it's like or I could just treat it like a cell phone.
Yeah.
Every camera is a phone. Every phone needs a plan.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. It's easier for everybody to keep track of.
It's easier but also think about, so I'm lucky. I get to run pretty much as many trail cameras as I want. But even if you're running 2, 3, or 4, or if you're running 6, 8, or 10, very likely all of them are out from July or August through December.
Yeah.
And you may have 1 or 2 that you leave out all year round or that you cycle through. So it lets you kind of choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
This is a solar camera. I'm not going to have to worry about battery life. I can do the remote firmware updates. I want this on the main trail going into my bedding area.
Yeah.
I don't have to go in there unless something goes catastrophically wrong. I'm going to put that out. I'm going to leave it there. I want an annual plan on that.
Yeah.
And then, well, I got a half a dozen micros that I kind of move around a little bit more. And once, I want to see what the fawns are doing. I want to see how my recruitment looks. But really, until we get to late July, early August, until that velvet really starts to form up and I know what I'm looking at, I'm only going to run 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah.
So if everything's in a bundle, okay, I save $5, but I'm paying for a bunch of service that I don't. If I really need. Think about it, it's the same thing when people will say, "What trail camera do I need?" I can't tell you.
I don't know.
Where are you putting it?
Yeah.
Because you talk about feeders, so the micro is perfect for feeders.
Yeah.
It's a little bit. This is a value camera. It's a $99 camera. It doesn't have the features that these other cameras do, so it's got a little slower trigger speed.
Yeah.
So. Can I rant?
Oh, please.
I've been ranting all week and you've been enjoying it.
I love it.
So this is because if we go to the internet, where everybody's a genius and knows everything, you see those blurry night photos?
Yeah.
Right? And they go, "Oh man, your trigger speed's too slow." And I go, "Uh-huh."
Yeah.
You know a little bit about cameras.
A little bit.
When light goes down, what has to happen for a proper exposure to take place in a camera? Shutter speed has to increase.
Yeah.
And as shutter speed increases, for all the kids at home, the shutter speed increases, that means that whatever is taking place in front of the camera, let's say that camera says, I need a half a second of exposure to get adequate light exposure to the sensor to capture what's happening.
Yeah.
That's 1/1000. Let's watch how fast my hand can 1/1000. That's going to show up as motion blur.
Yeah.
That's shutter speed.
Yeah.
And in low light, unless an object is stationary, when you get to more than about a 20th of a second shutter speed, that's going to show up as motion blur.
Yeah.
That's physics. You can't, nothing. No manufacturer can do anything about that. Trigger speed is to preserve batteries. These cameras go into sleep mode.
Yeah.
All trail cameras go into sleep mode. The sensor that is on all of these cameras, it's just like motion detection lights on your house. It's a motion, and when that gets tripped, instead of turning on the lights, it tells the camera, "Hey, we got something going on.
Yeah, take
a picture," and it wakes up. Trigger speed is something enters the sensing cone to the time that camera is ready to take a photo.
Yeah.
So you'll see it typically expressed in some version of 0.2 of a second, 0.4 of a second, 0.7 of a second. So again, we go back to, how do I choose the right camera? Well, do deer generally go hauling ass past a feeder, or do they just come walking in and they mill around and they're standing around? That's a low area, right? But then if you take this same camera and you put it on a trail, where deer may be, it's a horse show, right? Walk, jog, lope. Like they could be going any speed.
Yeah.
And that's where you get a bunch of pictures of deer asses.
Yeah.
Because either A, even though people have been saying this since, let's show how old we are. I'm going to go over it. When we had our 35 millimeter, we had to develop photos from our trail cameras.
Oh my gosh.
Even then they told you don't put the camera perpendicular to the trail.
Yeah.
Because your sensor is not a flat wall that extends from either side of the camera for 100 feet or 80 feet. It's a cone.
Yep.
So you want that to be kind of pointed and aimed at an angle so you can either catch them coming or going, because if you're going to put that camera 8 yards off the trail on a 40-degree cone, I don't like trigonometry. That's why I use dopam scopes. So, but you may only be actually sensing 18, 20 feet. And we already talked about it. If it's at night and it needs a half a second exposure time,
it's gone.
Whoop, if it jogged by, you're missing it.
You have a white tail.
If you're lucky. Or it looks like a ghost or whatever.
Yeah.
But so trigger speeds and flash and detection ranges. This is 90 feet. These are 100 plus.
Really?
And so really sitting down and looking and go, is this going on? Is this on a low impact?
Yeah.
Is this a bedding area? Is this a trail where they could be chasing? You know, and that's where, do I use multi-shot mode? Do you do single? Because, like I said, say you're trying to get by on a budget. I really want to use the free plan, but I want to get as many pictures as I can. And then you take that camera out, you throw it on a feeder with 500 pounds of corn in it, in hog country or raccoon country or whatever.
Lord, and then you put it, have a cow.
And then you put it on 3 photos per detection.
Yeah.
And then you put it on 0 delay. And then you go, my batteries are shit. Your camera's trash. Camera's running. I'm like, you took it to a zoo.
Yeah. And expected it to run.
You put it out, and it's just, and on top of that, transfer frequency.
Yeah.
I want, as soon as it takes that picture, I want to see it every time. This is it's a phone.
Yeah.
It's a phone. It's using your cellular network. If you sit on your phone all day, does your battery last?
No.
No.
Of course not.
And back to battery life. I'm kind of bouncing all over.
Yeah.
Apologies. But back to battery life. People will ask, how long will batteries last?
Yeah.
And it's not a question you can answer.
No, because there's all different settings.
Because of the phone, because of all the settings. But the number one determining factor of battery life in a cellular trail camera is strength of cellular signal.
Okay.
Just like it is on your phone.
Yeah.
If you are sitting in a metro area and you got 5 bars and all is groovy, then you're fine. Now go back out to that tree stand.
Yeah.
It's right at the edge of the swamp. It's a 4-day hike to get in there, and you sometimes have and that dreaded 1x shows up where LTE should be, and you know, I took a picture, and you go to send it to a buddy, and that like green progress bar of death, right?
Stops.
And you can watch your battery go 87, 85, 80. It's the exact same for these.
That's interesting.
Now, insider tip. Just for
us.
Just for your people. I don't like most people, so I don't tell most people this. So you have a camera in that location because that's where bucks live. Bucks don't live where you have good cell signal. Bucks only live where it's an enormous pain in our ass to get there, monitor, and keep track of what's going on, right? So you get in there and you go, it's a bad cell signal. So I'm only going to transfer 1 time a day. I'm only going to transfer 2 times a day. In theory, that makes sense. But we talk about how cell signal changes over time, right? So you've taken a day's worth of photos. You're in a marginal signal area. You've got 127 photos from the last 24 hours to get out, and it's a bad time.
Right.
You have no signal. The camera's going to try.
Okay.
And then it's going to time out, and it's not going to send. That transmission will fail.
Right.
If you're only transmitting one time a day, you're now waiting 24 hours until you try again. And we stack up another 127 photos. And now you've got an even bigger batch of data that needs to go out on poor cell signal.
Okay.
And eventually, the volume of photos will get so large that the camera will not be able to do it with the network that is there. So you have to understand there are trade-offs.
Yeah.
It goes back to, like, it's my optics thing.
Right.
Everybody wants a 2 to 30 rifle scope that is 6 inches long and weighs 4 ounces.
Yes.
That's everybody's scope that they want, and that's not how it works.
True.
You want high magnification, it's going to be big, long, and heavy. That's just that same thing with this. If you want to be in a low signal area, you can try to maximize battery, but just know your camera may just go into nope mode. It just won't be able to do it.
Negative.
What I recommend, and I pretty much always run 6 or 12 transmissions a day. Because then you're never more than 2 hours away from your next transmission. So because you can manage your settings, I don't want to wait a whole day for my setting change to go through. I want to know that I am never more than 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds from that doing exactly what I tell it to do. Same concept applies to those photo batches going out.
Right.
If it fails, you may be set on 12 transmissions a day, and it may fail half the time. But it still connects half the time.
It still connects half the time.
And you're going to get those smaller batches out. It's easier to manage, and you can push your way through it. It's not, like I said, you may have to go back in there more often to keep those batteries fresh, or maybe you invest in a solar camera right off the bat. You know, whatever the case may be.
Just too easy. Just too easy.
And we didn't even, so we talked price here, $99. So this, you got $99, 20 megapixels, photo only, basic entry-level camera. Here, you've got the dual SIM, your 36 megapixels, your 1080p video. You can do remote firmware updates. You've got the test and the format button, all of that. You've got the integrated battery, the onboard solar panel, everything you could want. $399.
Jeez.
Just kidding.
That's not what.
It's $189.
Oh. I wouldn't have scoffed at $399.
It's $189.
That's funny.
Basically, for what you'll pay to run batteries in this camera, you're getting by just going here.
Jeez.
In addition to all those other features that you've now rolled into it.
Dude, that's incredible. Like, that's easy. It's an easy decision because I think running a semblance of any three of these, like if you were like going, like what you were saying, on a feeder, on a trail, like, man, it just makes sense to get multiple different versions rather than, well, I'm going to just all run only solar. And you can do that.
We don't have, well, some of us do, but we get better. We don't have one gun.
Right.
We don't even have one carry gun.
That's
we
right.
We don't have one deer rifle. We don't. You choose the tool for the job.
Yeah.
A hammer is not a screwdriver.
It's just the same.
And the same thing happens here.
That's awesome. Well, dude, thanks for joining us, dude. That's in-depth. Probably these guys are going to have to listen to this a couple times just to process.
I'm going to apologize for them having to listen to me a couple times.
No, it's awesome. And it's a good food for thought for our guys out there that are, because it's time. Like, now is the time to start buying these and getting these set up the way you want. You can test them in your backyard, like whatever you got to do. That way, when you get out there, you're ready to go. You're ready to hit the ground running.
100%.
And now is the time to do it.
Absolutely.
So, all right, man. All right, thanks for joining us.
Yep.
All right, Gun Talk hunters, you know the drill. Keep those muzzles pointed in a safe direction and always be on the hunt.